Welcome to Rebuilding Hollers Come Hell or High Waters podcast. My name is Stephanie Johnson, and I will be your host for this evening. I love watching our dance videos. Y'all, it's so much fun. We are having so much fun making dance videos. You just got to see our video with our very own Mountain Heritage construction technology program, the Cougar Carpenters. They are doing a fantastic job on Project 510 is the one they are building. And so I got to see them this week. We made our dance video, and I just want y'all to know how much I'm enjoying that and how everybody loves to dance. Even if we can't dance, we still love to dance. So that was awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you, Russ, for putting that in the intro. That was great. I have some awesome updates for y'all today. First, I want to tell you I have an amazing guest on tonight. I cannot wait to introduce her. But real quick, I want to tell you a few things we have going on. Make sure if you're watching the podcast with us live that you type in #rebuilding, and that Russ will pop that question right up on the screen so that we can answer any questions that you have. I'm so thankful that you're here tonight. Pretty please make sure to like, comment, share, and interact with us, because the more that you participate in our podcast, the more people find out about us. And that's what this is all about, is making sure people know what's going on in Western North Carolina. So thank you for being here with me tonight. We had a big week. We had snow. We had all the different jobs going on. So it was a good week this week. Today we have an episode coming out in Women's World magazine. So they said it should be on the shelves between January 16th and January 22nd. So I have not found a copy yet, but as soon as I do, I will post that. I'm so excited to see what they have to say about us. That was such an honor. Upcoming in 1 month, we will be in Greensboro at the GAA. That's the Greensboro Auto Auction, with a classic car donated by the George Shinn Foundation. And that will be raising money for Rebuilding Hollers. We're very excited about that. We get a booth there, so we'll be there the whole time. I'm most excited to see everybody in Greensboro. So yes, if you would like more information on the George Shinn Foundation, who's been great to donate one of his personal private collection vehicles to this auction, we're super excited. And George will be joining us soon to talk about all of that, but not tonight. Tonight we have a different guest. Also coming up in March, we will be on the Mike Rowe Show. So I'm real excited about that. And then May 23rd, we have upcoming our next Jeep Into the Hollers event, which is so exciting. We are most excited. We're doing all the planning now. We are looking for sponsors now. So if you or anyone you know would like to get involved with our event, Jeep Into the Hollers, pretty please check us out online. Scan that QR code. We need sponsors. We need vendors. And we need people to come. So we're real excited about that. Now, on to a quick project update. Let me tell you all the amazing things going on at a few of our projects this week. Project number 3 is still rocking along on his framing. He's got his sheathing on his roof, and his shingle guy his shingles going up by the roofer on Wednesday. I'm so excited about that. Project number 8 had their hardwood floors installed today, and they're getting gravel delivered next week so that they can finish up some backfilling and get their steps built. They're going to be going for their CO here in the next few weeks. So we're real excited about that. Project 123 had their roof completed. Project 96 had their roof completed today and their electrical was done last week. Project 34 has got their sheetrock completely done. So the painters will come in next week, get it painted, the trim goes in, cabinets, appliances, and then he's moving home. I'm so excited about that. Project number 61 is a church, and we got their tongue and groove stain. So the fellowship hall is what we were working on. The sanctuary's done. It's so beautiful. Now we're finishing up the fellowship hall, and it looks amazing. So I'm so excited about that. Project number 77 has their firewall sheetrock done. They have their new windows and doors in. And next week on Monday, the sheetrock crew will be back and finishing hanging up all the half-inch sheetrock throughout all the offices in downtown Spruce Pine. So I'm excited about that. Project 174 has their roof done and all the sheathing done. So now he's getting into his interior framing, electrical, and plumbing. So we're real excited about that. Project number 12, our barn dough on top of the mountain. Of course, the metal is all done, and they have been getting all the interior framing done this week. Rough-in electrical and plumbing has come. So big progress happening at Project 12. Of course, Project 510, that's our new high school house. The house is doing fantastic. They expect it to actually be done by the end of the month. So we're just a couple weeks out from that house being done. At the same time, our contractor is finishing up the foundation on site. So you'll be seeing a crane set another house here soon, and I'm crazy excited about that. Project 486 got their cabinets installed and are moving. We got to see her today. She came up for some lights and some fixtures. So we're real excited for her to almost be home. And our newest project will have their roof started next week. Project 585 is the roofers will be there getting their roof on. So we are just making crazy, amazing progress all over the place. And I'm so thankful for that. So thank you for helping me do that. Now, without further ado, I'm so excited to introduce you to our guest this evening, Mrs. Sharon Decker.
Hey, Stephanie. I feel like I should come on dancing.
I know, right?
A little music.
Join the dance with us. Do you love the dancing? Is that
I love the dancing. I watch you continuously on Facebook, and it always makes me smile.
Well,
and it's so fun, especially to see all those young guys learning carpenter skills, electrical skills, plumbing skills, and having such fun helping somebody out by building them a home. It's a beautiful
I love it. Guess what? One of them is now one of my interns.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
I know.
Great. That's
I'm
really
so
good.
excited about that.
Yeah.
I got the call last week, and he was like, "Can I be your intern?" I was like, "I get an intern."
Yes, come.
So
thank you, Stephanie, for all you're doing and all that you have done and continue to do. And I'm so grateful for the passion with which you do it, because that's contagious. And as you're excited about helping other people get excited about it and join it all. So thank you for that. All of your doing.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. So we're on the same team.
We are.
We're working together, and I'm so thankful for that. And so I want to tell my followers, you are the senior advisor for long-term recovery for all of Western North Carolina.
Right.
So where I'm only dealing with 2 counties, you have what, 27?
Yes, 27, 28 counties. So not just the recovery, the immediate response, the building houses, getting roads repaired, all of those basic things we've got to stay focused on. At the same time, helping us look longer term. How do we get this economy going again? Because, when you have a disaster like this, it really takes a blow. And so we're, looking, how do we get new private investment into the region? How do we attract new companies to come here? What can we do that will encourage others to come and visit, letting folks know that we're open? Tourism is a big part of what we're all about. But we're also talking about some really good strategies that will help diversify our economy so that we're not so dependent on just 1 or 2 industries and tourism. All that's important. We want that to continue to grow, but we've also got to diversify it more. So we're thinking short term, immediate needs, but also longer term. How do we strengthen Western North Carolina? And I'm so honored to be a part of it. I'm taking leave from the work that I had been doing to commit 100% of my time to this. And I'm honored to have the chance to do it because I love North Carolina, and Western North Carolina is my home. So it's great to have a chance to give back.
Well, we're honored that you took that leap of faith also and did that, because you have, I mean, you've done incredible things your whole life. You were the youngest female CEO of Duke Power.
Not CEO, but I was the youngest, or I was the first female vice president. That just
First
shows
female vice president. Sorry.
I spent 17 years at Duke Power, and I'm so proud of the time that I was there. It just shows how old I am. Now there are lots of women who've done very well there, I'm happy to say. But hopefully I was able to make the way for a lot of them to have that kind of opportunity. And we came to Western North Carolina in 2000. You might remember the women's apparel company Doncaster.
Yes.
That was a very popular brand at one time, and I came here as their president. And we came to Western North Carolina thinking we'd be here maybe 5-6 years, and we hadn't left. So 26 years it's been home, and we're really happy about that. The last 10 years, I have been working with Tryon International, which is the sports and entertainment complex that's in Polk County in Western North Carolina. And it's been really exciting to be a part of that startup and to really create something there with private capital that has really changed that economy and really created jobs. Now over 4,800, both direct and indirect, over the last 10 years. So I'm proud of that. And so I kind of take all of that experience from, at one time, I managed emergency response for Duke in their customer service area. And so, it's kind of interesting how God puts us in places to learn what we need to learn, to do what he's got for us to do. And I have felt like that from the first day. When the storm hit, Steph, I was managing Tryon, and we immediately turned into emergency response center. And set up there, immediately opened up our rooms for National
Guard. And the hotel wasn't open yet, right?
No, but we opened it that day. Stephanie, we hadn't gotten our CO on the new hotel. And I called the county manager and the inspector, and I said, I have 67 FEMA Swiftwater rescue men and women that are here, and we've got to have a place for them to stay. And they said, move them in. So we did. And then the next morning lost power like everybody else. But we had a lot of good folks like y'all experienced where you are, Stephanie, that circled around us, got us generators so we could cook food, prepare food, have a place for them to set up an emergency hospital, which they did there on the property, and where we could set up and distribute food. World Central Kitchen set up there as well. And so we were just honored to serve. So I've had a chance to see it from the first day, and haven't lost my focus on it yet. So important.
I'm so thankful for that, because this is hard.
It is. I say to people, you and I were talking about this before the show, we're in the marathon phase now. Yes. In the first year, you just keep going, right? It's kind of sprints. You got to get this house done. You got to get this road open. You got to get these folks in a safe place. And you kind of see the path right in front of you. And now we're dealing with even more complex problems, and the roads that aren't open, 98% of them are, but the 2% that are left are really big issues. I mean, literally rebuilding foundations where roads can go in.
It's just gone. Like, I'm assuming the one in Bat Cave, from Bat Cave to Chimney Rock, is just gone.
So those are the heavy lifts, right? That really, there's no way to shortcut it. It's just going to take more time. Yes. And, the complexity of getting water and sewer systems, everything is temporary, but we've got to get permanent systems in place. So I spend a lot of my time trying to figure out the capital stack. We have some money here through the Department of Environmental Quality, some money here from DOT. So coordinating things so that we can get the resources into these communities. So many people working on it together, and we are not going to stop until we get Western North Carolina turning again.
Yeah, that's a big, because even here, because I'm only in 2 counties, so everything I always think of, Yancey County's water system's blowed out. We got problems here. Our sewers, so I'm so thankful that you are are taking the lead and managing all of that. And
No, so many people that are a part of the process. I'll tell you that each morning, every weekday morning, I'm on a call with the governor and his staff. The first question he asks every single morning without failure is, give us a Helene update. Not once a month, not even once a week, but every single day. That's how he starts his day. And so we're staying in very close touch with our communities and working with them very carefully. And the governor is keeping his eyes on it. We're very fortunate. I was with legislators this week. They're doing the same thing. I'm so proud of how they've all worked together. Nobody's worried about what party you're in or what you support or don't support. Western North Carolina's got a unified delegation, and we are very fortunate for that. I'm very thankful for that. I know you are too.
yes, very much so. Because it does, when you're sitting here in the, in the small community and you're like, when's it going to get better?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to feel like you're alone in this. I was talking with a lady this week and she said, it helps me to get out and see people because sometimes I feel like I'm so alone with this. She's still in temporary housing. She has applied to the Renew UNC program and very hopeful that she's going to be able to get her house totally repaired, maybe even replaced. And she was very, very hopeful, but she said, I'm in a safe place. I'm in a place I'm warm every night and I'm able to be at work and take care of things. But she said, we always want to be home. And that's my dream, is that she can get back home to that place that's hers. But we need to keep reminding our neighbors that we're still here for them and we're all in this together and we're not going to lose our focus until everybody's right back where they need to be.
Thank you. I'm so thankful for that. You have no idea how much it means to me because it does. It feels we all feel alone. Even I feel alone sometimes. Like, am I the only one?
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons your podcast is so important. And the work that you're doing through Facebook, encouraging folks and telling the stories, project number 51, 52, we're making progress because when we don't hear those updates, how do we know? I do a lot on Facebook and Instagram, the Sharon Decker, and we're just telling the stories. What's the progress? And thank you for coming on my podcast because folks
that was great.
Hear about how you're rebuilding the Hollers. I have to explain what Hollers are first, though.
Do you remember what they are?
I do. It's where I knew it before. It's right where the mountains come together, and I've been in many a holler in my day. Some of the most beautiful parts of our state, right?
Yeah.
No question about
Amazing. It. So what do you think, how does it look, the housing look like? So you're working in pretty closely with Renew UNC.
Yeah. So Renew UNC was set up for the disbursement of federal monies for housing repair and housing construction. And right now we've had over 7,000 people to apply for Renew UNC. We've got houses in progress. Several houses have been completed, and we're now starting to gain some momentum and really getting the work done very aggressively. And I'm encouraged by that. The program actually closes for applications the end of the end of January. So it's real important. If folks had significant damage to their home, they still have not been able to get help, they need to apply Renew UNC, and it's renewunc.org. renewunc.org. And you can apply online or you can walk into one of our offices. There's one in Marion, there's one in Asheville, and I think there's also one in Hendersonville. And so there are places that you can walk in and somebody can help you do it, but you can also fill it out totally online. Yeah. So I'd encourage folks to get an application in, and you can say, well, I don't know if I qualify. Nothing's lost in trying. It's a little bit of time just to get it in there and give yourself a chance at this and to see if there's some help there for you. So that program is up and running and doing really well. I'm so proud of the folks in North Carolina Commerce who got that program up and running faster, we are told, than any organization in any state in any storm. They really stayed very focused. Stephanie, who leads that effort, has been right on it and just following through to get the job done. And then, we have a lot of nonprofits just like you that are working all around the region. And folks will say, isn't that the government's responsibility? The government has a role to play in all of this, but so do nonprofits, philanthropies. in private individuals, it takes public and private dollars to make this work. And that's been true in any storm anywhere. And I think we have seen the best of what neighbors can do to help neighbors. Every day I see it, Stephanie, just like the work you're doing, people all over the western part of the state continuing to help, and volunteers coming from all over. Yeah. So with your organization, with Baptist on Mission, Samaritan's Purse, other small nonprofits around the region, I think more than 1,000 homes, more than 1,500 homes, as of my last understanding, have been repaired or rebuilt through nonprofits. That's amazing. You see, the work is so important because together we're going to get in a much better place. It's a team effort.
Together we can do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I tell people.
There's no question. And then this week we got some good news that some of the federal monies that had been committed to North Carolina will be coming. It was announced that federal dollars have been approved for what's called HMPG, which is Hazard Mitigation Program. And that's where people need housing buyouts, where the house is not repairable or where they're not going to be able to build again. And none of that money has come to the state yet. And folks were applying last February. So we've been very frustrated and, continuing to ask over and over again to FEMA. And this week we got word that the first of those dollars are going to be released. I don't know yet exactly where those are in terms of which houses or which businesses these monies will be specifically for. But over the next several weeks, we'll begin to hear that information. And then they'll start doing, I think they have to do evaluations and assessments, and then ultimately an offer on their properties. But that process is now started. And so we're excited. That's huge. Honestly, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's huge. The wheels are turning now, and we'll stay very focused with our federal partners to be sure that continues. So that was great news this week.
That's huge. We've got in Yancey County, I know there were 44 that had kind of like been pre-approved in the first round of the flood mitigation.
Yes.
Is that going to be the same? So that you got the flood mitigation, but then we also have landslide mitigation. Are they the same?
The monies come from the same place, this hazard mitigation program. They do. And I don't think there's any sorting of which is more important than the others. I think it's kind of when your application went in the process. And we worked very hard to get those applications in very early because we knew they would kind of trickle out. And it looks like now we're going to kind of get them in big bunches, but that's okay. Great. We'll get them any way we can get them.
We don't care. Give it to us.
Just get it done. And we'll get the process going so folks can get on with their lives.
That's huge. My project number 5 has been waiting to find out about the hazard mitigation. So this will be huge for them.
So hopefully, let's hope that that's in one of the first batches. But it's just encouraging. Encouraging the process has started. And we've been assured by our partners in DC that will continue and the wheels will keep turning. So we're excited. It's one step of progress. And again, it's a small step, but we'll be thankful for anything that moves us forward, right?
That's right. Well, and some people that did lose everything and that qualify for that, they can't do anything until they have, like my number 5, he's already back. He had another piece of property, built another home. But he lost his business, he lost his home, he lost his vehicles, everything. And not including the trauma that he went through,
I can't even imagine.
But then he decided to start building. He was the first one to start building in Yancey County.
Wow.
First one home. We're so proud of him, and we're so thankful to, support him. Yeah. But that has been a big step.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
I think the thing I've observed from survivors is if you could just feel one step forward movement, just get something moving. Stephanie, I had the honor of helping some of the businesses in the Hickory Nut Gorge, the Lake Lure, Chimney Rock area. We gave them some temporary location for them to open up their shops with what they had left. And so many of them, now they've been able to go back to Chimney Rock, Lake Lure, Hendersonville, where they had their stores before or close by. And, they all say it was such a gift to know that we just had a place to move forward because after this hit, we were just stuck. There was no way to move forward. And I think that's what we have to keep doing each other. I say we need a hand up to folks. They don't want a handout. Most people don't. They just want a hand up, just something to kind of lift them forward so that they can take the next step on their own. And we have to keep looking for the opportunities to do that.
Yes, we do. And they just don't want to be alone.
Right.
They know that somebody cares about them.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
I went to Chimney Rock this past weekend, and I haven't been down there yet. I went to give a presentation Saturday morning down in Rufferton, and then I was like, well, we're this close. Let's go ahead and go.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did.
It's so hard. Well, I told my husband, honey, what do you want to do? I said, I'm going to go buy ice cream.
Yes.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will tell you, it is hard. It looks so different, but the spirit of the people there will lift you up in such a way that the beauty that kind of oozes out of the space far exceeds what we see when we look around and recognize how things have changed. And
I went to every store, tried to buy something in every store.
Good.
Had a lot of ice cream.
Yeah.
And held it all in. But you know what the hardest part for me was here, my business is here. Yeah. I can go in and I can say, what do you need today? What can I do today? And that's the first place I've walked in that had storm damage that I couldn't say that to. And that was hard.
Yeah.
Like I want to help them so bad.
They have had, like you, helping where you are and the others around you in Mitchell and Yancey counties. They've had angels, as they say, that have come in to help and support them and continue to, folks who are coming back to volunteer and who are just coming back as you did to encourage them to spend a little money, to spend a little time. And that's healing for everybody to just be connected. We were made for community. God created us for each other. And in a world where we're so isolated and people tend to get very inward, we're working on our phone, working on our computer, I think we've all recognized the power that's in community and in care for each other. We have to keep doing that. Stephanie, one thing I wanted to share with your listeners that has been really exciting for me to learn about. Very early in the process, the state offered some funds for community colleges. For anyone that maybe they'd lost their job, needed to go back and do some retraining, or students that needed help because they had lost so much maybe they needed funds for transportation, or maybe they needed some help with their rent, those types of things. The community colleges have helped over 52,000 students with scholarship money. 52,000.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
My daughter attended Malin when the storm hit. And so when she went back, the next semester, there was no tuition. Every tuition at Malin was paid for by that.
Yes. It's so, and the stories that I'm hearing, one man who that I met in McDowell County managed a fishing reserve, kind of an area that had a campground and some campers where you could rent them and come in and trout fish. Fly fish there, and they had developed it over the last 5 or 6 years. Whole thing. He was there when it happened, and it all went washing down the river. And so his job was gone. His way of making a living was gone, and he went back to school as a result of all of this at free tuition, and learned heavy equipment operating. You can imagine it was really easy to find a job, right?
Yeah.
We have needed all the heavy equipment operators we could find. And he said, it's changed my life. I have a whole new job. It's a totally different set of circumstances. But again, it just gave him one way to move one step further, just to get up and get moving forward. So we just have to keep finding those ways to encourage folks.
What a blessing. I'm so thankful. I'm so honored to know you and know that you are fighting just as hard as all of us. We're all fighting the same fight, the good fight for our community, for our neighbors, to keep going. And I love that.
Well, I love it too. And we just have to keep talking with each other and talking about what we're doing, because there are a lot of people around still who want to help us. And I remind folks that there is a website called WNC Recovery. .nc.gov. wncrecovery.nc.gov. And there you can find kind of the status of our recovery, how the roads are coming along, how the housing's coming along, information there about status on all the programs, also where you can apply for programs. And if there's information about maybe a deadline is ending on some of the federal funding, all of that is kept up to date there. And we're always adding new things there to give new information. There's also a place on that site where you can send questions. So if there's anything that comes up that folks can have a place, they can make a contact. And we're also putting more people in the field in Western North Carolina. We've just announced 4 additional people that are assigned by counties where they're just right there so folks can have a single point of contact. If somehow things are not happening as they need to, they need information or they just need some help, we'll be sure they get what they need.
This is wonderful. And is this kind of like the North Carolina emergency management case managers?
Well, the case managers are all still there. These are folks that will work with the case managers, but they'll work beyond the emergency management issues. So maybe they will also be providing support for like businesses, not only individuals, but to businesses as well. And so it goes a little bit beyond the emergency case management. They're also going to be a part of the long-term recovery groups in each county. So there'll be a person from the state team that can be a part of each of those councils. So as we begin to plan the work forward in each of these communities, we can help you strengthen those plans. So
this is so powerful. This is so exciting.
It's progress. We're in the marathon stage. Remember that. And this is where I'm going to say it again. We got to come up beside each other and give each other a hand up. We'll get there.
And just keep dancing. Just keep dancing. Keep dancing. Because we can. Everybody has the same goals. We all want to get people home. And everybody's doing different things, That's what I tell people. I don't pay rent. I don't pay power bills. I don't buy food. I'm very specific on what I do. It's building materials. And I'm very specific where I do it. UNC in Mitchell County.
Yes.
Because there's so many incredible people that are taking care of those other communities.
And there's power in staying focused, Stephanie. I think it's really, really important that you have defined what you can do.
Yes.
And in that space, you can be very successful in supporting people. And I think that's a very wise choice on your part. It's manageable. It's big, but it's manageable.
Yes. Well, and it's where I live. It's where I work. I know these mountains. These are the only mountains. I very much know UNC Mitchell County, whereas, I've been to Bat Cave. I've sold stuff down there. Of course, I've been to Lake Lure and sold stuff, but not like here.
Right. Right. That's home for you. That's home for you. Just like prior to my taking this role, my focus was Polk County and Rutherford County, right where I was. That is about a 30-mile radius where the storm had its greatest impact in that part of the state. And so I stayed focused right there from the Hickory Nut Gorge down into Rutherford County and Polk County, because that's where I felt like I could be most effective. Yeah.
Y'all got hammered. I've seen the pictures. You see the pictures, but until you go see it, you don't see. You can't imagine.
That's right. And I think it's
important. How did the water go in those businesses? Because every business looked brand new.
Oh yeah, because some of the businesses, just like in so many other communities, like Marshall, went running down the river, and then others came in 12, 13, 14 feet. So it destroyed the first floors of those buildings and the entire buildings in some cases.
Yeah.
And as you know, a lot of our mountain facilities were older, and so they're not built like a lot of things are today to withstand things like this. So we're going to build back stronger and better. So we'll be more resilient, because other storms will come. We pray nothing like this. Right. But we've got to be smart. I know you're doing that and you're rebuilding, that we've got to be very, very thoughtful about how we build structures that are sustainable in bad weather, and not build where there's tremendous risk.
Right. Well, here, this was even more of a 1,000-year flood. Even the houses that are rebuilding in the exact same footprint of where they were,
right,
they're still not on the flood map. The flood map still says it's not in a floodway.
That's right.
So it's unimaginable. We're still raising them up. I've got one foundation that's going to be a jumbo foundation.
Yeah, we got a lot of houses that are going to be a lot higher than they were,
Yeah.
which is a whole issue in itself, right? And trying to do that and stabilize a home. And it's interesting, watching people make decisions about, do they go back where they were, or do they get on a higher ground, or do they do something totally different? It's interesting. We had so many people, and I know this is true in Mitchell and Yancey, that came to the mountains after Katrina, and the mountains became home. There were just a number of folks that I had interfaced with over the last 20 years that had come to us from Katrina. And they were such an encouragement in this storm to so many people, particularly that came and stayed at Tryon. We had a bartender there who had survived Katrina and then moved to Hendersonville with her children, and they've been there ever since. And she could so relate to what everybody was feeling. And she just kept saying, there are better days ahead. There are better days ahead. You'll think, and you don't know what that's going to hold, but be open and trust God in the process. And
He never failed us, has he?
No, never, never will.
Never will. That's
the great hope in that.
That's the most beautiful part of it. I've always had a relationship with God. I've always loved God very much. But when you feel his presence, when you're in the middle of a total come apart, it's like, you can do anything.
And we survived it, right? And I think when we come through something like we've been through, what he asks us to do is give it back.
Yeah.
He asks us to open our hearts and to give faithfully, and it always comes back in so much greater return. Someone said, "Good Lord, Sharon, aren't you going to retire sometime?" And I said, "As long as I got something to give, I'm going to keep giving it." But whatever it is I give, and you're finding the same thing, it comes back multifold. Just in the generosity of people and their spirit. Yeah. It's pure gift to be a part of this.
It's incredible. One of my friends said, Steph, you need an exit strategy. I said, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I have to do this.
Yeah.
God won't let me do anything else.
That's right. No. I think you are right where you need to be, Stephanie. And I got a feeling I am too. So I'm grateful.
You are exactly where you need to be. And I'm so thankful for your kindness and your generous heart to be at the next level of able to get stuff done. So because of what you're doing on the big levels, I can be here in my little zone doing exactly what I'm doing. And I'm just so thankful for you.
It takes all of us.
If you ever need anything in Yancey or Mitchell County, if you're going to see them and you need some merch.
Yeah, I've got to get me some merch. I should have been wearing my sweatshirt tonight.
I just ordered it's a zipper, a women's zipper.
Nice. Save one for me. I bought a hoodie when I was at Burnsville on the 1-year anniversary of Helene, and it was quickly taken away by one of my children. So now I have to get me another one, but I'd love a zip up.
I also I bet you would really like, we got some crew necks in that are so soft. It's that very soft fabric.
Yeah.
Email me your address and I will send you one. Or come up soon and let me take you on a tour.
Good. All right. That's a deal. If you'll take me around to see your houses.
I would love to take you.
That's a deal. Hang on to the shirts. I'm coming.
Okay, deal. Okay, that sounds
only
good.
If we can dance.
Oh, we're dancing. That's our new thing. That's our thing. We're just gonna, and I don't get nervous about anything, but when I realized I was gonna have to dance this year, I was like, my heart's racing. I'm like, oh God, are you sure? I hate to dance.
Oh,
we're dancing. No. And because we want to bring awareness. We need people to know. So
absolutely.
Dancing it is. All right. Well, you'll be here dancing with us in no time.
Good.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell our viewers tonight?
Only thanks to all of you who have prayed for us, who have come up and volunteered with us, who have sent money, who have sent supplies, who have just remembered us, particularly in your prayers. We're just so grateful. Don't stop. We still need the support and the engagement. And we're just grateful for all those around us who've cared so much. And we'll just keep loving our neighbors and lifting each other up. We can get through this and we can get to a much better place.
That's right. We can do it. And I'm just so renewed with you knowing that you're part of our team because you can do incredible things.
Thanks. We can together.
Yes, we can. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will see you very soon. Thank you all so much for joining us here. To Miss Sharon, you're amazing. I'm so honored to know you. I'm thankful you came with us tonight. So as always, my friends, thank you so much for loving me. Thank you so much for loving my community. I'll see y'all later.
The hardest part isn't the knowing. It isn't knowing everything that you have to do to get everything back right. The hardest part are the memories. Knowing exactly how it used to look before the storm. That's the hardest part.